It's been a day, stressing out like crazy, just wanna be lazy.
Hey everyone, it's me, Elyza Aquino, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics at Tarlac Agricultural University. So for today's video, I am going to discuss on how to become a good citizen. Of course, all of us should aspire to be a good citizens of the world. And each of us has our obligations and duties to be a good citizen. And I believe and I'm sure that there are different ways on how to become a good citizen of the world. But before that, let us first review the preamble of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. So, keep watching! Preamble of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. We, the sovereign Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God in order to build a just and humane society and establish a government that shall embody our ideals and aspirations, promote the common good, conserve and develop our patrimony, and secure to ourselves and our posterity the blessings of independence and democracy under the rule of law and a regime of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, and peace. Do ordain and promulgate this Constitution. So now, here are the different ways on how to become a good citizen. Number 1. A good citizen values of faith in God.
Faith is a real gift from God. It is not something we force to ourselves, especially when it comes to the question of God to believe, but to trust Him in everything as God acts first and respond unto it. Faith is primarily believing in God or believing that God exists. It is about counting on God, but it is also a journey because it grows. As we have this verse, we walk by faith, not by sight. Faith is something about trusting which is hard in the modern world, because sometimes we think that we should only trust ourselves. Faith is everything. It can be used to abolish frustration or uncertainty in situations such as depression or even anxiety. Faith in God is not delusional or pain-causing, but rather putting our weight on God's power and justice who acts upon willpower and courage. Are we faithful? Well, God is faithful. We are not. We struggle, we fall, we doubt, we despair, and absolutely, God's ways is not our ways. We should trust His ways and not our ways. Having different religion isn't a hindrance for us to have faith in God. Let us set aside our different religion and learn to accept everyone, no matter what different beliefs we have, because what important is that we respect everyone in all ways. It is not also enough that we just believe in Him, we should trust Him. It is not about being rich and poor just to prove that we have faith in God, because having faith in Him isn't based on our social status in life.
Number 2. A good citizen values of patriotism.
It is like the blood of the human system that gives power and hope for the future development of our country for the next future generation. For the past centuries, our ancestors fought for our right and freedom, committed in a bloody war, dominated by civilized kingdoms against our will, and aimed to lift up our heads. We were taught about the bravery, having courage and passion towards our country, defending our flag as we raise it proudly. But what is the true essence of patriotism? Well, it is living by what is truly Filipino, living by our culture and keeping it alive. It is always retaining the certain Filipino tradition with the new one, because what makes us Filipino are the traits that we have as Filipinos, and we always sing the Philippine national anthem for all our lives. It is actually living by the words of that song, most especially when we say, "Ang mamatay nang dahil sa'yo," which has actually a very deep message on that song. And for me, to die for our country, to die for the Philippines, is the biggest and most worth sacrifice that we can do for our country, for its liberty and for the freedom of the Philippines.
Number 3. A good citizen values of unity.
In our human world, There are lots of collective expression of unity. There is unity of different languages, the unity of the family, the unity of government and organization. But all these are limited form of unity, have limited facts in the world. They are not real unity because they do not include everywhere in the world. And it is said that the real purpose of unity produces unlimited results. In order for a real unity to be true, it must first be a unity that recognizes that man is one, that humanity is like a tree and each person is the leaf on it. It is being unique but not separate from the whole. We are different but we are one. We are from all around the world. We are all servants of one God, living on the same planet. We receive light from the same sun, growing and developing on the same land, and under the protection of the same God. If we help each other, I know that we will succeed. The future of humanity, our future, is unity.
Number 4. A good citizen values of work.
If we want to change the world into a better world, we need to do something. It is not enough that we only plan without taking any action. We should work. That's why God gave us 6 days to do our tasks or works and a day for us to rest. If we will not work and just do nothing, we will not survive in this world because we will not be able to have some food to eat or maybe even water to drink. We should work for all the things that we want to have in life because the things that came from our hard works are those really worth it. For example, myself as a student, I aspire to be one of your future educators someday, and of course, enable for me to succeed what I'm aspiring to be, I need to study hard, I need to work hard, and do everything that I can. And same as through with you. If you want to achieve the profession that you aspire to be in the future, you need to work hard. We shouldn't be afraid to fail sometimes, but instead, we use it as our motivation and we should learn from it. And I just want to remind you that doing some mistake doesn't mean you're a mistake.
Number 5. A good citizen values of respect for life.
God created us human. We should respect everyone's life no matter what gender we have, color we have, country we came from, or whatever differences we have. We should value each other and everyone's life. Help those in needs, animals, human, and all the existing lives in the world. Don't choose for who you help or who you want to save because we should be considerate in all the existing lives in the world. Not because someone is beautiful or good looking, you'll prioritize them rather than those who didn't have the looks or what they usually called ugly. It is not like that. Physical appearance shouldn't be your basis. In fact, God created us all beautiful in our own different ways, and we may not be attracted to other people, but don't forget that we are all beautiful. If we want to be respected, learn to respect other people. Respect all existing lives in the world, rich or poor, tall or short, good looking or not, dark skin or not, different genders, young or elders, and everyone. Remember that we are all equal.
Number 6. A good citizen values of respect for law and government.
We should respect the law by following even the simplest rules and regulations in our society. Do not ever violate any of the existing law, but instead, learn to be obedient. In fact, according to Henry Ward Beecher, the law is valuable not because it is not a law, but because there is a right in it. Meaning, there is a factor, there is a reason, and there is a purpose why it is a law. Without the law and the government, we will not be able to achieve peace in the world and justice that we deserve. We must obey the law because it is our duty, it is part of our responsibility as a citizen of the Philippines, disregarding our different status in life. Always remember that no one is above the law.
7. A good citizen values of promotion of the common good.
We, Filipinos, deserve to meet our basic needs to have an equal opportunities in life. According to Mahatma Gandhi, God has given enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. This means that God provided everything for us, but it's just that there are some people in the world who doesn't know how to become contented and greedy. They're more focused on what they want instead of what they truly need, which is wrong because we have the same basic needs that should be equally divided for us. What if someday, because of your greediness, once you are the one in need, they won't also help you? What would you feel? Of course, it's not good, right? That's why there's this saying that, according to Confucius, do not do unto others what you do not want others do unto you. And in fact, goods which are not shared are not goods. Don't be selfish and share what you have. Share your blessings.
Number 8. A good citizen values of concern for the family and future generations.
According to Father Patrick Peyton, a family that prays together stays together. We all know that one of the values of Filipino is being religious because we believe that if we were praying together, our relationship with each other, especially with our family members, became stronger. It is not just actually a saying, but a belief that we Filipinos believe. I believe that the future of the humanity passes by way of the family because based in our culture, whatever value system that our family have, usually those are the ones who also transfer for the next generation. So for me, if we follow properly the value system of a family in a positive way, because of course, there are some negative connotations about passing of generations, but if it is about the good traits of family, just like for example, if we apply the concept of family in a work, or in a class, or even in the government, I believe that there is always a good hope for humanity. Aside from that, they say that the family is the basic unit of the society. So maybe it all started there, because in a family, when we were still young, they already teach us the values. This means that we already started to learn the values when we were still young, and while we are growing up, it started to develop and helps us to finally embrace it. That's why when we say humanity, you did not learn that when you're already 40. You should learn that when you were still young.
Number 9. A good citizen values of concern for the environment and order.
If we want the environment to be preserved and nurtured, we should do something about it. We should learn to start in small actions, as they say that bigger actions came from it. We can do it even in the simplest way. We can plant trees, clean our surroundings, pick up even the smallest trash that we can see, proper segregation, and many more. We should focus on what will make our environment healthy and not on what will harm it. Remember that we are doing this not just for ourselves, but even for the better future of the next future generations. We are not superior over environment. We are part of the environment.
Number 10. A good citizen values of truth.
It is always important to tell the truth, as it entails sacrifices and effort that highlights our own capacity as persons to live with integrity. This means that no matter how hard the situations, no matter how complicated it may go, you should always tell the truth. You should always stay true to yourself and to other people. You don't need to force yourself to become other people when you're really not. Never pretend. Always be honest, because honesty is the best policy.
Number 11. A good citizen values of justice.
According to George Washington, the administration of justice is the firmest pillar of government. So if the government is injustice, it will not last longer. Justice should be started in the government. Otherwise, if other people do not feel that there is justice, there will be conflicts in the government, and no one will ever believe or follow the government. Another is that one man's word is no man's word. We should quietly hear both sides. So it means that if you are the only one who's just stating your thoughts and it is not applicable for everyone, that doesn't mean that it's acceptable for all. because that is dictatorship and there is no justice.
Number 12. A good citizen values of freedom.
Every person should perceive freedom as one that allows him act responsibly, conscientiously, and charitably, so that through it, we may grow as a better citizen and person for others. We must remind ourselves that freedom suppressed somewhere is freedom suppressed everywhere. For freedom to be a reality in our nation and not just a dream, we should be a keeper of the other's freedom. It is through virtual respect and that people will get appreciate their freedom and that of others. To be truly free, each one of us should strive to be well informed of issues to the preservation of our freedom. Freedom is the power of act or not to act and so to perform deliberate acts of one's own. An ordinary citizen can do more for the cause of freedom by not remaining complacent to the relevant issues, but rather become enlightened by our own knowledge of relevant issues and become emboldened to fight for freedom as what our heroes and martyrs did during their lifetime. The value of freedom is never without the value of responsibility. And as a citizen, I believe that freedom is a gift freely given and should be shared freely. Our sense of freedom should lead us to love our fellow men and in the process, understanding their light and doing what is good and right while avoiding what is wrong and unjust.
Number 13. A good citizen values of love.
Love is patient, love is kind. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rather rejoices with the truth. Love is a commitment to action, an intellectual and thoughtful decision. It entails responsibility, sacrifice, and service. It is simply doing well for others. Real love is one that shares, trusts, cares, respects, accepts, and forgives. Love is the key to our nation progress and the force that binds us together as one nation. Love cures people, both the one who give it and the ones who receive it. The true measure of love is loving without measure.
Number 14. A good citizen values of equality.
We are all human created by God. We may have differences, but that makes us unique. Let us stop discrimination and learn to accept everyone's flaws and imperfections. We are all equal in the world. We all commit mistakes.
Last, a good citizen values of peace.
According to Saint Augustine, peace means serenity of mind, simplicity of heart, and tranquility of soul. Peace cannot be attained through violence or other ways do not promote order. Peace begins in oneself and is a God-given gift that must be continuously nurtured by prayer and reflection of one's values and principles. It can only be achieved if those head of our institutions and academic agencies intentionally undertake to educate people regarding the value of peace. It can be attained and sustained when people develop a deep consciousness if their faith in God, concern for their fellow men, loyalty to their country, and respect for their environment. It cannot be thrive in the world with people do not live in dignity. There can be no lasting peace if the nations of the world prosper at the expense of others' nations. Peace is attainable through forgiveness and reconciliation. Peace is the fruit of justice, love, and order. There is a kind of peace which no amount of trouble can take away, and that is doing the will of God and following the rule of law.
Pledge to be a good citizen. Imploring the aid of Almighty God and united in spirit with Filipinos everywhere, I do solemnly pledge to be a good citizen and to live and uphold to all times the Filipino values in the Preamble of the Constitution, participating in nation building with patriotism and zeal. I will work conscientiously and honestly. I will respect life, law and government, and freedom and basic equality of all human beings. I will show concern for the family, future generations, and the environment, and promote order and common good always in adherence of truth and justice in the ways of love and peace. All this I shall do inspired by our national vision of a just and humane society, so help me God. That ends my video for today, so I hope that you learned something. Thank you and God bless.